My sister-in-law wore white to my wedding, labeled me a liability, and attempted to sabotage my marriage. I'm 29, female, and have been deaf since birth, relying on sign language and lip reading to communicate. My husband, Adrian, 32, began learning sign language when we started dating 6 years ago. He's now proficient, and we communicate seamlessly. Initially, his parents seemed accepting, making efforts to learn basic signs. However, Adrian's older sister, Sabine, 36, a nurse at a prestigious hospital, married to Martin, a 39-year-old lawyer with 3 children, has always been a problem. From the start, Sabine made it clear she thought Adrian could do better than me. Her behavior began subtly. She'd turn away during conversations at family gatherings, making it impossible for me to read her lips. When Adrian translated for me, she'd sigh dramatically, complaining about the effort it took him. Despite his offers to teach her, she never learned a single sign. Things escalated when we got engaged 3 years ago. At our engagement party, Sabine cornered me, accusing me of selfishness for making Adrian learn a new language just for me. She suggested I wasn't right for him, implying hearing women wouldn't demand such accommodations. I told Adrian later, and he confronted her. She denied it, claiming my disability caused me to misinterpret her words, a pattern she repeated whenever challenged. Wedding planning became a nightmare. Sabine inserted herself into every detail, criticizing our choices. She told Adrian's mother a sign language interpreter was an unnecessary expense and suggested printing the ceremony script for me to follow instead. Adrian removed her from the wedding party after discovering her interference. Sabine crashed my bridal shower uninvited, giving a speech about marriage requiring constant communication and compromise, staring at me while emphasizing communication. Guests later said it made them uneasy. At our wedding last year, she wore stark white, not ivory or cream, claiming it was a lighting mistake at the store. During her reception toast, she spoke about Adrian's sacrifices without mentioning my name, leaving a bitter impression. 7 months ago, while house hunting, we found our perfect home within budget. Sabine, posing as me, contacted the realtor, canceled our interest, and had the listing removed. We lost the house due to her meddling. When confronted, she claimed she was protecting Adrian from a bad neighborhood, saying I wouldn't hear danger coming. Adrian told her she'd crossed a line, but she dismissed it, insisting she was looking out for him. 3 months ago, Adrian was promoted at his engineering firm, earning a significant raise. During a celebration at his parents' house, Sabine showed up unannounced. She congratulated Adrian, but then questioned whether I contributed to his success. She calculated he'd spent over $6,000 in 3 years on sign language classes, deaf community events, and home assistive devices, calling them my special requirements. She argued he'd have been promoted sooner without these expenses and claimed I'd distanced him from his old friends who couldn't communicate with me. Adrian's father finally called her out for cruelty, but she doubled down, saying someone had to highlight Adrian's sacrifices for my limitations. I left the room, retreating to the backyard. Adrian found me 25 minutes later, saying he'd asked Sabine to leave. His parents apologized profusely, but seemed uneasy. The breaking point came 4 weeks ago during a Sunday dinner at his parents' house, which I attended alone as Adrian was working late. Sabine, there with her family, grew bold without him present. She spoke to her kids about disabilities, ensuring I could see her lips, saying some people's differences burden those around them, forcing sacrifices. Her 9-year-old asked if Uncle Adrian was unhappy because of me. Sabine nodded, saying some stay in relationships out of pity, not love, and that Adrian was too kind to admit his mistake. I texted Adrian, who left work and arrived in 15 minutes. Sabine denied everything, but Adrian's mother confirmed what she'd heard. Furious, Adrian told Sabine she was no longer welcome in our home, and we'd avoid family events with her. Sabine laughed, saying I was isolating him, vowing to wait until he came to his senses. Adrian told his parents they had to choose between supporting our marriage or enabling Sabine. He demanded she acknowledge her behavior, apologize sincerely, and commit to respecting me, or we'd cut contact with the entire family. His parents begged us not to force a choice, suggesting counseling, but Adrian was firm. The next day, Sabine sent a letter via his mother, refusing to apologize and claiming her actions stemmed from love for Adrian. His parents said she was remorseful, but she never reached out directly. Adrian has been quieter lately, and I caught him looking at old family photos. I never wanted to divide his family, but I can't tolerate Sabine's cruelty. I'm torn between supporting his decision to cut ties and wondering if I should urge reconciliation, despite her lack of remorse. Update 1. A shocking revelation 6 weeks after cutting contact, Adrian's father called, sounding grave, and asked to meet for coffee. At the meeting, he looked worn out, apologizing for not addressing Sabine's behavior sooner. He revealed Sabine had been fired from her hospital job 9 months ago for falsifying patient records and mistreating disabled patients, including delaying accommodations for deaf and blind individuals. She'd hidden this, pretending to work while spending days at coffee shops or malls, burning through $18,000 of their savings. Martin, her husband, discovered this 3 weeks ago when the hospital contacted her about paperwork, unraveling her lies. Martin noticed Sabine's hostility toward me worsened after her firing, believing she projected her failures onto me. Adrian's father shared this because Martin, planning to divorce Sabine, wanted us to know the truth before she twisted the narrative. Martin apologized for missing Sabine's deteriorating mental health, citing his focus on work and their kids. He revealed Sabine had been written up multiple times at work for insensitive comments, with the final incident involving her refusing an interpreter for a deaf child's family, delaying their care. Security footage showed her mocking them, leading to her immediate dismissal. Sabine, too proud to admit her failures, blamed the hospital for discrimination and redirected her anger at me. She told others her job was cut due to layoffs or that she was taking family time. 3 days after Martin's call, Sabine showed up at our house, tearfully claiming Martin was lying to justify divorcing her. Adrian refused her entry, revealing we knew about her job loss. Her demeanor shifted to rage, accusing us of conspiring against her. She trespassed, peering into our windows, prompting Adrian to call the police. They escorted her away, noting she seemed intoxicated, and suggested a restraining order. Martin asked us to provide a statement for his custody case, which we did, documenting 4 years of Sabine's harassment. Adrian's parents, learning of her lies, were devastated and asked to meet, but we requested time. Sabine's calls from various numbers and a blame-shifting letter followed, which Adrian discarded. Update 2. Escalating harassment. Sabine's behavior worsened as Martin's divorce proceedings advanced. 4 weeks ago, she began stalking us, first at our regular grocery store, commenting on our purchases until the manager escorted her out. She then appeared at Adrian's workplace, fabricating a family emergency about their father, who was fine. Security removed her, and Adrian filed an incident report. 3 weeks ago, she waited outside my office, approaching me calmly to clear the air. When I refused to talk, she grabbed my arm. I pulled away, locked myself in my car, and called Adrian, who contacted the police. They warned her of harassment charges. We filed for a restraining order, supported by a detailed timeline of her actions. The temporary order was granted, barring her from contacting us or coming near our home or workplaces. Sabine violated it with fake social media accounts, messaging Adrian's friends and coworkers, claiming I'd turned him against his family. She posted veiled comments about disabled people manipulating others, clearly targeting me. Martin's lawyer warned her to stop, citing a violation. She then called Adrian's workplace repeatedly, prompting them to block her number and ban her. Sabine's lawyer quit after she ignored advice to stop contacting us, delaying her divorce case. A court evaluator noted her refusal to accept responsibility and her fixation on me, raising concerns about her influence on her children. Adrian's parents, balancing support for Sabine and us, stopped pushing reconciliation. 2 days ago, we received a package with my medical records and articles on deaf education and divorce rates among disabled couples, likely from Sabine, who accessed them via Adrian's parents. His mother admitted Sabine stole documents from their home. We reported this to the police, who are investigating it as a potential felony. Our lawyer is pursuing criminal charges for the restraining order violation and medical privacy breach. Adrian remains supportive but is visibly drained. We're taking precautions, altering routines, and awaiting the restraining order hearing. Update 3. Resolution and consequences: the permanent restraining order was granted after Sabine missed the hearing, hospitalized for an overdose of sleeping pills, possibly intentional, compounded by alcohol. She spent 4 days in the hospital and 3 weeks in a psychiatric facility, diagnosed with severe depression, anxiety, and possible personality disorder traits. She refused ongoing treatment, claiming bias, and violated the restraining order again by showing up at our house at 3 a.m., falsely claiming their father had a heart attack. Police arrested her, and she spent a night in jail. Charged with multiple violations, Sabine rejected a plea deal requiring therapy, insisting she was protecting her family. At trial, representing herself, she ranted about systemic bias and disabled people's overprotection. Adrian and I testified about her harassment, including the workplace incident. The jury convicted her in under 3 hours, sentencing her to 8 months in jail, 3 years of probation, mandatory therapy, and no contact with us. She reacted hysterically, accusing everyone of conspiracy. Martin, now with full custody, is counseling his children through their confusion. Adrian's parents, regretful for enabling Sabine, support our boundaries and assist Martin. Sabine, in jail, alternates between apologies and blame in calls to Martin, who has stopped responding. Her release is 5 months away, with supervised visitation and therapy requirements pending. We're rebuilding trust with Adrian's parents slowly, relieved to understand Sabine's actions, but cautious about her future behavior. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories. Get more experiences.